is the one issue that we should be pushing to rectify. The educating our kids. Don't stand by and let the miseducation of our kids rule us and run us through the future. There are people out there, don't be fooled. There are people out there that don't want you to be educated. They have that chain on the brain mentality of the slavery days. And it's just only, I already gave you 50 years ago, we had the Brown versus Board of Education. 100 years ago, we were talking about the Jim Crow. The 150 years ago proclamation, the Emancipation Proclamation was enacted, the freedom of slavery. And then 400 years of slavery, held in bondage. No education opportunity. So we're not that far removed. It's almost understandable why we're in this state and why people think that way. On both, it's not a racial issue, it's a people and a human issue. So we can all come together right now under this issue of educating all our kids to raise all of America up to tackle to deal with the worldly. This is a big picture here. The world is out there flying past us. Academically, all civilized nations, we're the last on the totem pole here in America, but we have the best schools, the best teachers. Everybody wants to come here and get their education. And what do? They go back home and teach their people. We have the opportunity to teach our own people. So what they're doing at that school district down there and all ones, we can fix that. Don't be just, dismissing what the report says. Act on it and do something about it. And that's what I think. That's about all I got to say on it.
Well, let me.
I'm very passionate.
Oh, absolutely. This is a passionate subject because it's the future,
and we want to stay on.
It's the future, and you're right. See, the thing of it is, I'm gonna piggyback off what you said a few minutes ago about we think we got forever, right? The societies that understand what we're talking about, they're 20, 30 years down the road thinking, and we're only thinking about next Friday.
Yes, sir.
Right? So if we drop out of school and all this stuff, our kids won't compete with their kids, and guess who's going to get all the best stuff? Guess who's going to keep making it so you can't get it?
That's right.
Right? And that's going to be, that's the new form of slavery, in my opinion, because that's going to be worse than actually working in the field, because it would take us another 100 years to even correct that. Let me just throw a couple of things out here that we talked about earlier. I mentioned the fact that we did a call to action on education, which is time to either do another one or complete the other one. These are some of the topics. I won't read them all, many of them, but these are some of the topics that we're talking about here. Okay. In elementary school and secondary school. Okay. Increased resource equality. Okay. Right. Improving teacher quality, increased access to early childhood programs, creating smaller class sizes, that was a big one for many years, closing the divisional divide, which is basically what we're talking about now, all the electronics and stuff like that, addressing disparities in high school state testing. That's a biggie, because if we can't pass those type of tests, okay, and I told you I was on the original group to create that, so I know what's unfair to that, right? Now it is one group that goes around from state to state to state to do the testing. Okay. The problem is with high stake testing is that at the end of the year, those classes are scheduled to take it, the 10th grade, 11th, whatever it is, to take the math, reading, whatever it is. It's supposed to be something that you already had that year.
Supposed to be, exactly.
And it's not. They give you stuff you never even heard of. Right? And in their other schools, it's what they've done. Okay? So we're talking about, to correct that, reduce the dropout rate. We talked about that big time. Increasing parental involvement. We've been talking about that. Now, each one of these I'm reading, this is just a topic, and then the book here will tell you what we have to do and what it recommends. Eliminate racial disparities in the suspension and expulsion of students. Some of these things keep popping up because that's what's kicking us in the teeth right now. Okay, when it goes to higher education, colleges and things, right? College preparation, college recruitment, college admission, college affordability and financial aid, faculty diversification in higher education, and retention and graduation. Now the retention and graduation can fit all these classes. Whenever you so-called graduate from elementary school to junior high school, when they have that little ceremony, we have to remain that retention, right? And we've touched on some of these things today, all right? But this is what we have to do as a community. And what I would like to do in the near future, depending on everybody's schedule here, is to continue this on the radio.
Absolutely.
All right now.
Okay.
I'm on board.
Absolutely.
And where we can get actually talk to the community when they call in.
Well, that's a
I'm
good point.
I'm available anytime except afternoons because I work in afternoons, but I'm available in the mornings and late evenings.
We'll talk.
You know what? We have an obligation,
Thank you.
Britt. We do have an obligation to educate our kids, and if we don't come together on the issue, or this issue, I don't know what issue is available to come to. You know, you're like here on Comcast 28, we got shows after show all day today. Sunday is going to be shows going on, and I like
Every
to
day
see them.
of the
And
week.
I like to see them come on and talk about this issue and highlight this issue, and not talk about throwing other people under the bus, what this guy doing, what he ain't doing, what he done did, what she's, whatever, and all that gossip stuff need to go out the window. Right now is the time to step up and defend your kids' right to a decent education so that they can get out there and get a decent job, take care of their families, and stop causing havoc in our communities. And get them drugs. They won't need to sell drugs and shoot each other if they had an education, had a decent job. You see what I'm saying? So I would like to see, if anything, this station here, I look at 28 all the time, and I'll go, this guy's that, and that guy ain't doing this here. Instead of using that platform to bash somebody, they can use that platform to help somebody. And if they don't help everybody knows we need to help our kids. Just fall back on that, or fall behind us on that issue. And we'll worry about the rest of them. Everything else will fall in place. It's the domino effect. We doing it, they doing it, everybody doing it. They have to look and do something about it instead of shooting our leaders. Don't leave J Street at Mayor Washington, Tom Gordon, and all the rest of the leaders speaking out the civil rights. They speaking out, stepping up for your kids to get an education. Don't leave them out there hanging, because they'll shoot them down just like they did Malcolm, Martin, and all the rest of the leaders that stand up. Every time somebody stands up and speaks for right, Gandhi, the list, Jesus Christ, the list just goes on and on throughout history. You stand up and speak for right, and we sit by and let our leaders fall by the wayside. This is one time that we don't have to do that. We need to stand behind it. They're standing out there, they're on the paper, they're saying, hey, this is what we got to do for our kids, and we need to rally behind them and support them and get our kids back in school, keep them in school and off the streets, and you'll see everything improves.
Well, can I get an amen?
That was eloquently stated.
Well, Ms. Spanish, can you, before we close out here, give us any, if you want any numbers you want people to contact you on anything, or what
Sure.
you're doing right now?
Sure. You can contact me on my cell, 302-256-3488. Again, 302-256-3488. That's my personal cell. Leave a message, or you can send me a text. That's fine as well. One final word that I wanted to share was that you know, when I started, you know, some people feel like, you know, I don't even know how to get involved. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know which group to join, you know, because there's a lot of groups out there too. So you can get confused about that. What I did personally is just my own passion and my own interest. One, I read the newspaper every day. That's the first thing I do. The second thing is that I get on the internet and I tap into this Department of Education's website, and I would put a call out to the youth, pull up that website and show it to your parents, because they get busy. They don't, you know, sometimes they can't do it or they don't know how to do it. You know how to do it because you play on the internet all day long. So pull the Department of Education's website up. Pull up your school district. If you're in the Christina School District, pull that school district up. Look at the statistics that are listed there. They're right there for you to see. You can see what the dropout rate is. You can see how many African American students are in your district, which, by the way, is listed at 40%. So if 40% of the students are African American in the Christina School District, then the district should be focusing on agendas that pertain to those students.
That's sure.
The next demographic is the white students, and then after that, the Hispanics and the Indians and the Asians.
That's right.
So I'm just saying, do your own research and develop your own passion for what's important to you, and reach out to somebody that appeals to you and just say, hey, how can I get involved?
That's right. Find a mentor.
Mr.
And
Johnson,
I'll
you
close-
go ahead.
I wanna
Robinson.
close out-
Robinson.
I
We
wanna
only
touch
got
on-
2 minutes.
Real quick, you know, Denise passed out her phone number, but don't think you're gonna get right to Denise. She got security here. You got to have to answer to Mr. Tyrone, who happens to be a Golden Gloves contender in boxing. So, you know, if you need to get into sports, whatever it is to keep you through school, you know, stay there, do your sports. And I just had to mention that we big boxing fans here, and we got a Golden Gloves contender right here. I just wanted to let y'all know you're not going straight to Denise.
Okay, but now you done cut into his time. You got about 30
No,
seconds.
I just want to say this is a little saying I've been keeping to myself. Always remember this: those who hate only win when we hate them back, and only then that's when we destroy ourselves. Thank you very much. God bless.
That's right.
We're going to end on that. I want to thank everybody who's been tuning in to the Brittingham Friends all this time, and we'll be back here next month with another important community issue. I appreciate having my guest here today, and I'm going to end with a quote that says something with hate too. Don't hate, let's associate. All right. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time. Thank all my guests today, and you have a blessed day. Remember, if you don't recognize your blessings, you'll stop getting them. So we'll talk to you soon.
Amen to that.
That's
Amen.
felt.
All right.